Well, hello, Facebook. It is Dr. Kimberly. How are you all doing? I'm excited to come on and share with you. Thank you for joining. If you will share this really quickly, I won't be on a very long, but I wanted to come on and really talk about this mass robber that has come in and stolen some things from us as women. And so I wanted to share that. So I want you all to share this live. This is going to set some of us free on today. Is going to help us to have a better understanding of what it is that we need to be focusing on, some things that when you think about collaboration, what does that mean? How does that impact us as women? And why is it that there's a thief? There has truly been, listen, y'all, there's a thief. He is a thief. It is a robber. It is masked. So we don't know why and what's behind the mask. But on today, in the next few minutes, I just wanted to share with you as women, how are we going to unmask the thief of collaboration? And when you think about it, ladies, when you talk about collaboration, it is something that has robbed us as women. Right now, we're in the middle of a crisis. We're in the middle of COVID. People's businesses have been impacted. Individual ministries have been impacted. People's homes and houses. And so the provision that some women have operated under as it relates to how they actually earn wages or earn a living or even do business or even ministry has been impacted. And so with that, this is a season of collaboration, not just because we're in a crisis, ladies, but also because this is a part of being able to be kingdom minded. And oftentimes when we talk about collaboration, there is a separation as it relates to women in partnership, women in business, women in ministry. And so I am coming on today to kind of share a little bit and shed the light to unmask the thief, because the thief has come in and robbed us. It's taken us and just robbed us of our ability to create as women, our ability to partner and creativity. And when you think about it, collaboration breeds creativity. When you have women, y'all, like who are dynamic and they have creativity and they can think, and we have resources and you can collaborate and come together where everybody wins. The enemy has robbed us of that by telling us that it's not enough for us. The enemy has robbed us by telling us that we don't have enough. And so I want you all to comment, let me know that you are here. And let me know that you're here in the chat. But I want to just say, when you think about it, ladies, it is pretty much when you talk about what it is that collaboration does. Collaboration, listen, I have it rolling across the screen. It's the action of working with someone to produce or create something. And I want to stick on the action of. And so I want to just give you a biblical view as well on the significance of collaborating. And I'll tell you this, one thing we have, first thing I want to say is a scarcity mentality will rob us of collaboration. The one thing is the scarcity mentality will rob us of collaboration. We have to have a mindset that is of abundance. We have to have a mindset that is of more than enough, that we serve a God that's more than enough. We have to have a mindset that we have a Jeremiah 29:11, in which that means God has already given us a plan and a future and a hope. So let me tell y'all, listen, hey ladies, hey Evelyn, hey Yolanda, thank y'all for joining. That is what I'm talking about. These women are boss chicks in their own right, but being able to come on and support and share. I don't even like the word support, but being able to come on and receive and also share their knowledge as it relates. And the reason why I don't like, let me back up. The reason why I don't like the word support. Yes, we are to support each other. We are to be there, whether it is financially, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, absolutely. But what I'm saying, sometimes as women, we will be in, we'll have an event and we'll say, well, I'm just going to support. And it's almost as if you can't receive. So you're going to go in and support. I'm going to, buy a ticket to support. Well, I want us to shift our mindset, because either one of the women that I am in partnership with, whether it's ministry, business, if we're strategic alliance, if we're a destiny partner, I can come and receive from you. I can come and look from you and say, wow, Yolanda is teaching. Wow, Evelyn is teaching. I want to be a part of that. I can take her course. I can do those things. But let me tell you something. Collaboration is action. And what I want to tell you is, first of all, let's take it from a biblical view and not a world view. When we think about the biblical view, I'm going to take you to a story, and you probably have never heard it in this manner, because when I read it and how it was, the Holy Spirit just opened that thing up for me. I just got to keep it, real, because there's a thief out there. When you think of a thief is a couple of things. A thief can steal something from you and you know exactly who it is. But a robber is somebody who comes in the night. It comes in when you're at your most vulnerable state. It comes in when that particular thief comes in dressed and they're ready to kill. So it's a difference. When you have a thief can actually just take something from you. They can walk up and they'll unmask and they can steal they can go into a retail shop and just steal. They'll take it and take a chance on not being caught. But a thief, a robber, y'all listen, a robber comes in the middle of the night when you are asleep, when you're the most vulnerable, they know that you're not expecting it. They come in unexpected. And so I want us to think of a robber has come and stolen, because a robber says, I'm going to get you when you're most vulnerable. When we are in our most vulnerable position, the thief comes in and says, do not collaborate. Do not be a part. Do not invest. And the reason why is because they want you to feel that it's not enough. But I'm going to take you to 2 Kings 4. And we all know the story of Elisha and the widow and the oil. And I'm going to do a spin on this word, because when I tell you it's in it, I found it. It illuminated itself and it found me. We all know the story of Elisha and the widow woman. And so the widow woman actually sought after Elisha, who was a prophet. And the reason she did is because she was about her and her sons. She had a husband who was killed. He was no longer, he died, right? And so she sought after Elisha because he was a prophet. And y'all hear me clearly. When she sought after Elisha, there was already relationship there. And how do I know that? Because it says a certain woman of the wives of the sons of the prophets cried out to Elisha. And if you really want to take historically from the text, the sons of the prophets were those individual students of the prophets. They were there to learn the ancient law. They were there to learn about the word. So therefore, Elisha was a teacher. Elisha was a prophet. Elisha was going around. He was a prophet. And at that time, he was teaching. So he had sons. And so just like people have sons in the ministry, just like people have daughters in the ministry, this was one of his sons and in his school. So a son in the ministry. So there was relationship there. Elisha knew that he had lost a son. So she didn't just go seeking a stranger. So she sought him out, and she says, your servant. See, y'all listen, relationship. Your servant, my husband is dead. So there was relationship. Follow me quickly, because there's a robber who has come in and tried to steal some things that belong to us, that is an expectation of us. But we've yet allowed this robber to go and steal the belongings and steal our valuables and affect our creativity and our ability to be able to increase together, to be able to serve together. She says, and you know that your servant feared the Lord. So he loved God. She says, and the creditor is coming to take my 2 sons to be his slaves. So what typically happens, and I'm telling y'all this, she says, they're coming to take my 2 sons because at the time, if there was anything owed, you could take people into slavery, their children typically. So she was about to lose her sons. Check this out, y'all. There was relationship. She lost her husband, so she lost her provision. Your husband is the one who made provision for their household, or makes provision for the household. So she lost her provision. Listen, it's many of us who have lost our provision in this season. We've lost, yes, God made provision, a natural provision where we had resources that we depended upon in light of our source, who is God is our source, absolutely, in context, but he has allowed us to have resources. And in that, what has happened is that we have lost provision. Some people's been furloughed. Some people had to take pay cuts. Some people had to stop traveling. Some people don't have their ministry going anymore. People have to change in the way in which they do business. And so here she's lost her provision. She also is about to lose her sons. So therefore, out of fear, she then says, I want to seek after Elisha because I know he knows my husband loved God and he was one of his sons. So therefore, let me see what he says that we can do. And so for one, don't forget relationship and fear. So that's the thing. When you talk about collaboration, you want to make sure that there's relationship. And you also know that after that relationship, there may be a sense of fear. You may like, well, I don't know if Tracy wants to work with me. I don't know if Tedra wants to work with me. I don't know what they would think about me. But see, her intent in her heart was pure. She had lost her provision. So she wasn't going to use Elisha. She was going to see what it is that he saw because he was a prophet, what it is that he would have for her to do. Check this out, y'all. Listen, provision, provision, provision. When you think about it, I'm telling you now, it says, so Elisha said, what shall I do for you? Tell me, what do you have in the house? And she said, your maidservant has nothing in the house but a jar of oil. All right. And so many of us now, when you think about oil, those are the things that they used to cook. Those were the things that they used to put in the lanterns. And so many times when you think about it, they were still resources that really beget other resources that would allow them to utilize things in a way. So many of us have lost some resources and we've lost some things and we're actually a little bit afraid. Like we have faith, but let me just check out Elisha. Let me check out the relationships I have to see kind of what they say in this season. And so Elisha said, then this is where I want you to follow me. He said, go borrow vessels from everywhere, from all of your neighbors, empty vessels. Do not gather just a few. And when you have come in, you shall shut the door behind you and your sons. Then pour it into all those vessels and set aside the full ones. Y'all, so we know this story as going out and borrowing the empty vessels. So when I was reading the actual text, it just highlighted, I've been knowing this story since I was a little girl. And so when I was reading the text, go ahead and comment if this is, I'm telling you, I'm about to tell you, collaboration is action. That is exactly what it is. And let me tell you the three things. Let me tell you, her fear drove her to the relationship to seek and ask. All right. But check this out. He says, go and borrow. Y'all, that's collaboration. He said, I want you to go and borrow vessels. So that things that you can utilize. So go and borrow vessels. And he says, but I want them to be empty, but I want you to go everywhere. And he says, I want you to go to your neighbors. That means people that are around you. That means in her time where she had lost her provision, things were now short. She was now in a situation where it looked a little tight. She went to seek relationship from Elisha. And then he said, let me tell you what I need you to do. What do you have? She says, I just have the oil in my house. And so what he said, okay, well, this is what I need you to do. I need you to go everywhere and even to your neighbors and ask them for their vessels, but make sure that they're empty vessels, because the thing is, when you think about it, he drove her to collaborate. And many of us are in a situation where we need to collaborate. You see, she could have easily said, I don't talk to my neighbor. I don't know my neighbor. I don't really fool with them women like that. I don't want to go asking them. They're going to think I'm poor. They're going to think I don't have anything. But see, when you think about what he's asking her to do, he didn't say, you don't have it. He said, the first thing he said is, what do you have? So I'm asking you all, what do you have? What do you have in your business? What do you have in your ministry? What do you have in your household? What do you have in your hand that then you can go and collaborate? Because that's exactly what he asked you to do. Go to your neighbors, go everywhere. And so first of all, you want to have a trusted relationship there that you're able to go and collaborate. When I tell you, she knocked on all them doors because she had so many jars that she couldn't even listen. She lost count. So what I'm telling you is, some of us are in a season where things are looking like it's scarce to us. We're looking afraid. We're looking stuck. And we're sitting here trying to carry our own oil by ourselves, and it's limited. It's about to run out. And there are some neighbors, there are some other women who have already made provisions for you. The prophet has already spoken. He said, this is what I need you to do. So therefore, he knew that they already had exactly what she needed. He knew that they had the resources. And when they went and she asked, they gave it. It didn't say they resisted. It didn't say that They didn't give them to her. See, provision had already been made. She lost provision, but provision had already been made. So what I'm sharing with you, ladies, is that a thief has come in and caused us and robbed us of our ability and our creativity and our ability to multiply, because we have to be able to multiply, not just in this season, absolutely, but in the kingdom. And so I just want to encourage you that we don't allow, see, fear can do one or two things. Fear will either drive you to the thing that for the answer, or fear will drive you away and you'll lose it. So what I'm telling you is fear drove her to it. So instead of being afraid and allow fear to run you, what you want to do is make sure that you're saying, okay, what is it? Where am I right now? And then he says, what do you have? So I want you to check your content. I want you to check your cover, check the thing that you already have. And then I want you to go and begin to partner with women. But the key thing is, he said empty vessel. So that means you're going to have to be able to pour something into the relationship. That means you're going to have to be able to pour something in a greater way to multiply, to maximize. You're just not going to receive, because she already had oil. He asked that first, but now she needs jars. He said, go get empty vessels and go to your neighbors. And when she did that, he says, now shut the door behind you and your sons. Here is the deal. What I want to tell you, there was fear and then there was faith. What happened is this lady goes, so she went and she went from him and she shut the door behind her and her sons, who brought the vessels to her, and she poured it out. So now she didn't question, she didn't hesitate, she wasn't worried. I don't know if they're going to give me the vessels, I don't know if they're going to want to work with me. She didn't even question it. She went. You know why? Because it was relationship, and she trusted the prophet. And so I need you to understand that as you are moving in this collaboration, that there must be some form of relationship, and then you begin to move forward. And what is it that you have? And now you're going to meet and connect with other people. They're going to easily hand it over. See, some of us are thinking that people are going to be tight fists, but let me tell you, he already sent her to the place where provision had been made for her. See, she lost provision, but yet provision was already being made. She lost her husband in the natural, but God had already set it up in the spiritual, that the very thing that she thought she lost, he had already replaced. And it was replaced with the women and the men in her neighborhood. It was replaced with the people that she had been around the whole time. It was replaced with people she thought was on her same level. She didn't have pride. It was replaced already. See, some of us are too prideful to go and ask the people that we've been around the whole time, the people that have the same similar platform, skill, style, experiences, and even ideas sometimes as we do. And we're afraid, because at the risk of thinking they're going to think we stole their stuff or we don't have any more, we're going to lose out on our oil. Because she could have just taken her oil and she could have just poured until they died. She could have just poured until her resources ran out, but she went and got those empty vessels, y'all. Collaboration requires you to have relationship, and it may drive you in a place where there was fear that was there. But when I tell you, the fear drove her not away from the answer, but to the answer. Sometimes fear will drive you to a place of faith. Sometimes fear is not always bad. See, he says, I didn't give you the spirit of fear, but of love and a sound mind. She had to have wisdom to even seek out Elisha. So what I'm telling you, ladies, if we think about the thief that has robbed, the robber who has come in and stolen from us, he's allowed us to look at other people and feel that, well, we can't go and share. We can't go and get more. We can't go and pour our oil into their vessels. That's a trick of the enemy. We need to go ahead and handcuff that thing. We need to go ahead and put them in the back of the police car and let them go on so that they can be in the lineup to get pointed out, so we can look at that thief right in the face and say, you lied to us. I need my sisters. I need what they have. They need what I have, so we can go and advance the kingdom. And so I want you to think about, there was fear and there was faith, but then let me share with you about the fruit. See, when you think about it, it says, so she went from behind, she shut the door behind her and her sons, who brought the vessels to her, and she poured it out. Listen, now it came to pass when the vessels were full that she said to her son, bring me another vessel. Y'all listen, she was pouring so much in the thing that her sisters and her neighbors had brought and allowed her to pour into, hold on, here it is. Her faith is why it was continuing. Her faith, see, Lord had already made provisions, but because she was obedient and she trusted that God had already made the provision, the very thing when she went in contact and in touch with that neighbor, she was able to still pour. Her faith, her obedience, and trust that God had already set that thing up allowed it to continue to flow. So I want somebody to say flow. I want you all to put continue to flow. You have more than enough. Continue to flow. It will be continual. See, when we talk about something to continue, I've learned the difference between I will continue to pray for you and I will continual prayer. Meaning it never stopped. It's ongoing all the time. She continued. It just kept going. That was continual pouring. That was continual fruit. There was continual oil. I mean, there will be unlimited resources. There will be unlimited favor on your life. And some of us are operating underneath the favor that God has for us. We're not operating at the level in which he's called us to operate under. And so we are thinking that we're isolated. He says, I didn't isolate you from collaborating. I isolate you from Corona. I didn't isolate you from collaborating with your sisters so that you can move forward, but I did isolate you to protect you. So what I'm telling you, the shelter in place is not to keep us from collaborating. It's actually going to drive us. See, when you're in a place of fear, you can go to God and say, well, where am I? I've lost this part of my job. I've had a pay cut here. I lost this client. And then he'll say, well, what do you have? And then you'll say, this is what I have. I have this content. I have this book. I have this food. I have a couple of things that I want to do. And he says, okay, this is what I need you to do. I want you to go to your sisters and I want you to go to each of them and I want you to go everywhere and I want you to take the empty vessel. Empty vessels are the things that are able to be used. Empty vessels, when you look at it, are the thing that God can use. He doesn't want you to go to the people who are already full. He wants you to go to the people who want to be filled. And that's the difference between an empty vessel of your sister and you going to someone who think they have it all, somebody who can't learn, somebody who don't want to collaborate. So I want you to go and look for the empty vessels, the women who want to be filled, the women who want to be used. And when you find those empty vessels, you can go in and you can feel confident and you can shut the door and then you can pour and you can pour and it will flow and it will flow and it will be continual. And once you ladies understand that the robber has come in to take our flow, that's what he's done. He's come in to take our flow. He's come in to cut your product off. He's come in to cut your purpose off. He's come in to steal, kill, and destroy. So let me tell you something. When you move into a place of obedience unto God, when you move into such a place where there is true obedience unto God, he says, go get the empty vessels, y'all. We're steady trying to go get, see, the reason we're getting our feelings hurt, the reason why we can't collaborate, because you're not looking for the empty vessels. See, God uses those who he can get a blessing through. He uses those who come willingly to be used. He uses those vessels that have been broken, but yet they use the pieces because he can make a masterpiece. See, he uses the individuals that he knows. So he didn't say, go get full vessels. Elisha said, go get empty vessels. So why are y'all continuing to go get partnered with women who are full of themselves? See, there's no way to collaborate with somebody who is full of themselves because they believe that they're the answer. They believe that they have that they're the ones. But see, you want to work with women and collaborate with women that Elisha had already given direction. He said, go everywhere and go to your neighbors and get the empty vessels and then you pour. And so that means if all of us are going to get empty vessels and we all have something, that means we're all pouring. And so when you think about this word, I want to end it here because I got to jump on the global prayer call because those are my other co-laborers around the globe that I'm able to go and not just support because I need prayer, because I want to be able to be and sit at their feet and petition heaven on behalf of the people in the earth and the half of what's going on. So I'm not going to support her. I'm not going to support Pastor Shalina. I'm going so that I can receive and then I can also pour. And so when I think about that, I want to let you know this last point before we go. And he said, her son, she said, bring another vessel. And he said to her, there is not another vessel. So the oil ceased. So when that thing is filled, she filled every vessel. It says, then she came and told the man of God. And she says, Elisha, and so what we say is, Lord, we did what you said to do. And he said, well, go sell the oil and pay your debt. And you and your sons live on the rest. Oh, y'all listen, it's payback. So there was enough in the collaboration and the empty vessels and the knowledge and the skill and whatever resource it is that they partnered with that she was able to flow into and flow from, that she then now was able to go back and give them something of what they had. She sold what was given. So there's product to be sold. There's services to be sold. There's money to be made. And don't shake for money. We're in a capitalistic country. We're on a system where that's all it operates under is money in exchange for fee for service, in exchange for value. So don't get scared. That's something too. That's a whole different topic. But she was able to sell from what they all worked together to get, sell off the debt. So if there's anything owed that you got from that individual, you pay that off first. So that means next time you need me, I'm going to be there too. I don't owe you, but because I was there and I gave my empty vessel, I was available and I was willing, I want the same in return. But once you do that, I want you to live off the overflow. He says, then you and your sons live off the rest. So then there was fruit. That means there was so much fruit. There was an abundance. She started off in a mentality where she was afraid. The fear then drove her faith to go speak to Elisha. And then obedience and trust in her faith and belief in what the man of God said drove her to be able to be obedient, to pour, and to be able to go out and not be afraid to partner with other women. She said, these are my neighbors. I'm going to go ask them. By faith, I know it, but provision had already been made. So I just wanted to let us know on today, all of us, collaboration, when you think about it, ladies, collaboration is the thing. So we have to unmask the thief of collaboration. We have to lift that mask off and say, I see you. I see you trying to come against my faith. I see you trying to come against my ability to partner. I see you trying to come against my purpose. And then I see you trying to come against my profit. I see you trying to affect my coin. And so what I'm sharing with you is that when you unmask the thief of collaboration, you'll understand that it's driven and it will help you in your fear and your faith, and you will have multiply an abundance of fruit. So I'm just coming here to tell you that women, I'm grateful for the collaborations. I'm grateful for the oil that flows. I'm grateful for us partnering together in such a way that I can be an empty vessel for you. I can be an empty vessel no matter what God has allowed me to do, no matter what steps and places he's allowed me to go. If he's made provision and he's made it for us, then we have resources that would help impact the kingdom, then we should be willing and able to be used. So ladies, we got to learn to unmask the thief of collaboration. Thank you for joining. I just wanted to really come on and just be appreciative of the women who are not afraid to partner and not afraid and come in empty and utilize and be willing to utilize what you have already. Not to take, but to pour into each other. Because that's essentially what was going on. And so the enemy is going to be mad. But some of us are not maximizing where we are in this season because we don't have the resources. You don't want to ask the questions. You don't want to say, well, how do you get on this? How do you listen? If you ask the empty vessel, you don't have to worry about coming back and they're feeling like you want to be. If you ask an empty vessel, If you ask someone who is willing and able to be used by God, if you ask someone who says, I have something, and when you go to their home, they say, you know what, I can, I, I have a little bit, and I'm willing, and then they can just pour. And I wish I had a vessel where you can just pour. See, I have a little bit. I don't have that much. And I don't have very much. And she said, well, go in there and shut the door. And y'all just pour. Hallelujah. All that is fruit, multiplication, resources, all of that. All of that. Look at that. Just pouring, 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 pouring until it's filled. All we have to do is go to our neighbors, take what we have, seek out the empty vessels. God has already made the provision. Be willing to be used and pour into each other. All right, ladies, that's what I wanted to share. We've unmasked this thief. He is a lie. And now our daughters, God's daughters, our sisters, are better equipped to go out and be willing to be used, be willing to support, and be willing to collaborate. So, ladies, I'm about to jump on this prayer call, and I want you to go out and collaborate. Know that the provision has already been made. But she trusted into a wise counsel before she went out to do that. Wise. And he made sure to tell her, make sure the vessels were empty. And she came out even more plentiful. She had overflow. As I was pouring that water, some dripped on my pants. It's overflow. And that's where we want to operate. So, ladies, thank you so much for joining me. And again, it's always good to do Destiny with you.